Hey guys, Christopher Stray here, coming at you with the second vlog for IDH3035 Myth and Ritual in Film Spring Semester. Today I'm going to be talking about The Jazz Singer, the 1927 talkie movie. Considered to be the movie that ended the silent era, and it is a very impactful movie actually. It's very interesting, the plot development, and I consider for the time period to be a very progressive movie. In this movie, basically, a son doesn't follow the path that his father wants him to follow, and he follows what he actually wants to do. That's a basic plot of the movie. Of course, I can go into details, but I'm here to talk about elements of the movie, not the whole plot of the movie. But in this movie, there's a portrayal of classical Judaism. You have the father, which is very orthodox, very strict. He's the head of the household. What his word is law. Um, and he wants his son to be a cantor. Now, a funny thing I found, I'm a French major, so I dabble in linguistics, I speak Spanish, everything. Cantor is like cantar, the Spanish word for singing. So I thought that was interesting, and also chanteur, in French, chanter, it means to sing, so I just thought that was interesting, I thought I'd add that in. But back to the analysis of the movie. Well, yeah, he wants his son to use his voice, which even the son refers to as the voice of God. So they link the voice and singing to a godly thing and a religious aspect. He only wants his son to use that in the church and for the church. And he doesn't want his son to use it for the raggy music, as they call it. He doesn't want his son to do any of that. His son defies him and basically goes and he's like, I'm going to follow what I want to do. And he becomes a famous jazz singer. And one of the interesting scenes in the movie is a scene where he's much older now. And the movie starts when he's a little kid and kind of transgresses and skips ahead to when he's older. He's with his parents and he's trying to win over his parents because his father basically like totally banished him, didn't acknowledge him. Like he would send letters and the mother would be like, look, our son sent us a letter. He'd be like, you have no son. Stop thinking, we have no son. And then he's trying to win back his parents and he's telling his parents that he gets to perform on Broadway. And to this, his father freaks out. He's like, your voice is only supposed to be used by God and for God. You cannot be singing and like this. So it seems something is like sacrilegious, like he's committing a blasphemy. And it's interesting to see the difference in the two generations. It's like a dichotomy of generations. You have the older, more orthodox generations. You have the progressive, newer generation, which is seeing that the only outlet that is entertainment media shouldn't be through the church. You can have sacred and you can have secular. And he's trying to make this a secular thing. He's trying to transcend this religious ritual and he's developing it. And that's one of the questions we have to answer related to this movie. So traditional religious rituals such as singing led to the development of showbiz. They led to the development of opera, development of musicals, and has led to things today such as popular music, Christian rock, things like that. They have transcended just the original use of music, which was Gregorian chants just to say different prayers in different settings, which is pretty interesting the way everything ties in. Now, other things. The movie's historical value. The movie is considered to be a talkie movie, even though they only talk 15 to 20 minutes. I know in 1927, this must have been like mind-blowing. This must have been like the special effects today in like DC movies and the Star Wars movies and things like that. But they only talked in certain scenes for the singing of the songs, and then there's this one scene where main character is with his mom, and he's sitting and basically he's telling her that how successful he's become, and they're gonna move to the Bronx and basically like move up in life, and he's telling her you're gonna have the best black silk dresses, you're gonna be envied by the butcher's wife. So basically, his mother is a kind, gentle soul, and even though his father is rough and hard, he still tries to reach out to his parents. He follows a kind of skewed hero's journey, if you kind of, loosely, if you want to apply that. He defies what is his world. He goes into a new world. He basically is banished by his parents, so he's not really with his parents. He makes his own goal. He goes, attains his goal. So it's kind of like a little hero journey here, just like a little sprinkle. Now, what does this say also about the culture of the time? Now, this is New York. This is 1927. This is roaring 20s. This is a period of economic boom. There's a period of immigrants coming in all over from Europe. It's the end of World War I ended 13 years ago. So people are trying to get their life back together. They're migrating to the New World. Um, Not the New World, to America. What am I saying? So you have a heavy Jewish population, Italian population, all that in New York. So that creates like a little culture piece. That's why in the church scene, I thought was interesting. It was really packed there. You could see that there was a lot of people, but they weren't. You can tell they weren't people that grew up there. They're people that came from Europe and were there. You saw the rituals. You saw the singing, which was interesting. That the singing of the religious songs was one of the things that was voiced in the movie. Now, another thing I wanted to discuss that I noticed throughout the movie was the representation of women. Now, women in this movie, it is the 1920s. They are portrayed to be, in the household, do the cooking, take care of the children, the stereotypical stuff. But also, you see the mom is defying. Also, she's doing this big blasphemous thing. She's defying the orders of um, the man of the household. And it's pretty interesting to see, like, 19th, 20th century is a progressive era for women. It started in the 19th century with the feminist movement. Interesting to see how they're portraying it in film. And women had just gotten the right to vote in the United States 7 years ago in 1920. So it's pretty interesting to see that even though the father is completely against his son's journey, the mom is always there. She's like, I love my son. She goes to one of his performances. She's always there for him. And it shows that this is the beginning of many things. Now I'm looking here on my little mini outline that I wrote down as I watched the movie. Really general stuff. I talked about how it signaled the end of the silent movie era. It was pretty impactful because after this, talking movies became the main thing. Even though there's scenes in here that are still silent, that are mostly silent, it shows a transition. Kind of, like 3D movies today. Um, Different holidays. Oh, the Yom Kippur scene. I almost forgot that. At the beginning of the movie, when the father gets a complaint that his son is playing and singing raggy music, he talks about how his son is going to start Yom Kippur fasting earlier than before. And it's pretty interesting to see that that's a punishment. Like something that should be a religious virtue, he's going to get as a punishment. That kind of sets the tone for the whole movie. Because basically the father's forcing down the Jewish religion and classic features of the religion down the kid's throat, and he doesn't want to do it. So from the beginning, you can tell. And the mom even tells him, our son doesn't see our values. And that's something with hard-headed people like in this time, I thought was pretty interesting. It was to me, a progressive movie overall. I hope you enjoyed this vlog. I'm sorry I stuttered so much. I'm trying to get everything in that I wanted to say. But I'll see you guys for the next vlog, so have a nice night.